We're here on 49 going south, just south of Joplin, and we're looking at a really great looking Kenworth there. Tell me who's behind the wheel, and tell me what you got there.
Oh, my name is Billy Baker out of St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. An old show guy, kind of retired, but we just come down to see our friends.
Well, copy of that. You say you're an old show guy. What does that mean to everybody else watching there?
Well, basically retired. Back in the 2000s, late 90s, we used to show all over the U.S. We had an 82 Peterbilt needle nose. Had that truck 30 years. And I sold it here last year, finally to a friend of mine. My boy was upset, but it was sitting there, and it was time for someone to enjoy it. And the love of trucks I have, and the friends that I have, and it made. I built this truck here about a year and a half ago to play around with, and decided to come down here and see my old buddies.
Well, I understand that. I'm sure they're happy to have you down here. Tell me about the truck and what you've done to it.
A friend of mine had it sitting at home. It's a 99 W900L. Last year, the flat window, flat dash, and it was sitting around for about 3 years at his place. I sold my Peterbilt, and I bugged him for a couple of years to buy this truck. It had a 60-inch flat top, 244-inch wheelbase. It was just a good truck, hard to find, and I finally bought it from him, and last couple of years I pulled a gravel trailer with it, and I started working on it and mocking it all up, building a sleeper and to look like a Mercury, and put a Peterbilt opening in it, and kind of designed the paint job from my boy's dump trucks, which he was in the Calern 2015. And 2 years ago in the shop we tore it down, decided to paint it. So I just wanted to do something different, I guess, than a Peterbilt. And I like it. I made it look new, made it look old. I do different things.
Speaking of the interior, tell me about what you got going on the inside there.
Well, it's basically stock Talladega lowrider seats. We put hardwood floors in trucks and tile floors. Everybody's put all kinds of floors, but we found a black and white with purple in it, granite, like you put on your countertops. And we put granite floors in this truck, and basically just cleaned it up. It's basically stock with the Peterbilt opening and the big bunk opening, and that's about all I can say. It's basically stock inside, original VIT interior.
For being stock, as you say, it certainly looks good there.
There's a lot of little different things, like the emblems on the front come from the 60s. I said the truck wouldn't be completed until I had those emblems. It took me 2 years to find them. In Canada, when they built Kenworths, we had a Kenworth factory in Quebec in the late 50s to the early 70s. They put Canadian above the Kenworth to signify that it was built in Canada, which a lot of people really don't know, especially you American people. But that was a Canadian thing. Those are original Kenworth emblems on the truck, and I said this truck wouldn't be completed until I found them, and I found them from a gentleman at home and through the internet, and by gosh, they're like hen's teeth, but they're on the truck, and that to me just completed this Kenworth with the old emblems. The front is a crooked K. Hard to find piece too. I bought that off of eBay down in the States here. I paid $500 for it, but it's an original crooked K Kenworth on the front too.
I wouldn't have noticed that, and certainly wouldn't have known that about the Canada over the Kenworth emblem there. Thanks for sharing that. Tell me, what are you making for horsepower with that truck there?
It's a stock 550 cat, 18-speed, 308 rear ends. It's just stock.
Well, it sounds pretty good there.
Yeah, 7-inch Lincoln Chrome. I went to Lincoln Chrome. My friend that died, Randy Robillard, he got me in touch with Lincoln Chrome this time around, and we went 7-inch, and I liked their system, and I put it on this truck, and it turned out very, very nice with their white pipe.
So let's go back a bit and get some history, some more history about yourself. If you wouldn't mind sharing how long you've been driving for and some of the things you've done throughout your career, that'd be great to hear.
Well, my father had trucks, dump trucks back in the day. He used to be a highway driver, which we didn't get along too well. I kind of went on my own when I was about 16 years old, working for a fella there at home, hauling boats, hauling yachts, wide loads, big loads to the west coast when I was like 17 years old to Vancouver, BC. I worked for him for about 7 years and bought my own truck and decided, well, if I'm going to work this hard, I'm going on my own. And that's basically what I did. And in 1987, I bought one of the first garbage trailers in Canada and started hauling garbage in Canada. I had about 47 units at one time, retired in 09, and had a good run. Worked hard for 38, 39 years, day and night, and now I'm just kind of taking it easy.
I'm sure there's so much to gain from your experience, and I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about that. There's a lot of guys that are wanting to get a business of their own started. They want to be an owner-operator. They want to have trucks and things of that nature. From your experience, what could you share with a guy that would want to, grow into the position of being an owner-operator and then grow a business? What would you say to a guy like that?
Well, Chris, I've had that question asked a lot of times by people. I have 3 rules. 3 rules in it is you better be able to work hard. If you have a suit and tie, throw it away. That's the work hard. You better be able to work on your truck, fix your truck to save money. And the biggest of all is manage money. If you can't manage money, you'll never make it. Management of money is the biggest thing. Working hard and working on the truck is easy, but managing the money. If you can do those 3 things, you'll make it.
Managing money, in your experience, just so guys could have a handle on that, give me some scenarios where, managing your money would be really beneficial for the long run.
Well, I grew up with basically just my mother. I had a sister. She couldn't buy us much. She'd buy us jeans at Kmart when my friends were wearing Levi's. So my mother taught me basically how to manage money. In 1987, when I formed a company and I had owner-operators, I would give them a check for $10,000. They would drive in with a brand new pickup truck. And I go, guys, what are you doing? Well, I got a check for $10,000. I said, well, you probably got fuel bills to pay for. You got this to pay for. You got that to pay for. Don't you think you should, just wait? My mother always taught me to have money in the bank for a rainy day. And that rainy day will come. And these guys don't. So I've always kept a buffer in the bank. If I had a little bit more, I would spend it. But I always kept that buffer to fix my truck if my motor blew up. But people don't do that. When they get money, they just want to spend it. But like Mom said, there will always be a rainy day. And I am still that way today.
Well, your mother was a wise person, and it's paid off. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I've been blessed with a lot of good friends in the trucking industry, and I wouldn't change it for any money in the world. I've met a lot of good guys, so like I said last night on an interview on TV, it's got to be in your heart. You got to love trucks.
I agree 100%.
I guess I would say you have to love what you do to be good at it. I will say in the end, a lot of these guys down here looked up to me. They call me the legend. I'm a Canadian. The younger guys, it makes me feel pretty proud, but I'm no legend. I'm just their buddies.
It's always nice to have a person like yourself that, you can pick their brain. You can ask some questions and you're going to get some good sound advice back. For the guys that know you, the younger folks, they're probably really blessed to know you that way.
Yeah, and I'll be the first guy to help somebody. Like, on the way down here, I watched an old man and an old woman changing a tire, no gloves, when I was going in for a coffee. The jack had fallen and the old guy's tire dropped and nobody would help him, and I grabbed my coffee inside, come out, I seen what happened, and I was right there and parked in a no parking zone, and that's where he was. Changed the tire for him and his wife and Bubba, and they were so happy, and I said, well, that's what's gone in this world today. Nobody will help nobody. And you know what? Didn't have a problem. I don't care if I was 10 minutes, half an hour. I was helping him. Changed his tire and he was on his way.
Yeah, it's those simple things that really count. So I'll throw another question at you that some guys may want to know. What's the secret of building a good-looking truck like that? You know, what do you do?
Well, I guess you need a broad mind, just ideas. And my ex-wife used to say to me, how do you do this stuff? I said, I just see it in my mind. I see it in my mind. I know what I want to do, and I just do it. Some people say it can't be done, but no has never been in my vocabulary, and I guess that would be another rule. I just do it.
So having a mind, creativity, and the willingness to get it done is one thing. Also, too, you know, I've seen some guys sketch some things out on paper, you know, as far as what they want their truck to look like and things. What are some other things that you do? Maybe these are trade secrets that you don't want to talk about, but what are some of the other things you do there?
Well, I'm kind of old-fashioned, and I'm not very computer literate and all that stuff. I keep things in my mind. I see things, and like I said, my wife would say, "How do you see it?" I said, "I just see it in my mind. I don't put it on paper, and I start building." But my love is for old trucks. I started with a B61 Mack when I was 16 years old, running the West Coast. I love old trucks. I belong to the ATHS. Those 80-year-old guys are my mentors. I love the old trucks. I love the old designs, and I look at them and I just try to do stuff off old trucks. And I've always built trucks that way. You know, if you look at me, I've built hot rods. I've built a 49 bullnose Kenworth I had at Louisville a few years back. First cab over Kenworth they ever built. I like to build different things, and I think that's why the guys look at me and go, wow, he just does different things.
That's great, and that always brings a really good flavor to the table when it comes to building a truck.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, Chris. You're a classy guy.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. It's always nice to mingle with the guys that come to these truck shows. The best of the best, and if they're not the best, they're striving to get there, and they're striving to do a good job.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't do this if you didn't love trucks.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. You know, I'm always on the hunt for a great looking truck.
That's what I said. You gotta have a passion. You gotta be in your heart, and it definitely is in yours to do what you do. Like I said, I watched you at home. Not very computer smart, but I can get down and watch this stuff on YouTube. And like I said, when I met you in Florida, you know, I said I knew the voice. You know, like I said, met you now, top-notch guy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Mr. Baker, it's been a pleasure getting yourself and your truck out there on the highway. It's such a fabulous looking truck. Thank you for making some time to do that.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Like I said, the guys have been great to me in a show circuit, been blessed, treated me like their own. Being a Canadian, I'm just, you know what, it's an honor, and I thank you.
You're welcome. Well, be safe going back up there Canada way, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, my friend.